Hey, has a family member ever asked you to co-sign a loan, whether that's a car or a house or a personal loan, whatever it may be? Listen, I'm gonna go over the 6 reasons why you should never ever co-sign a loan for anybody, whether that's a friend or a stranger, and why doing so can actually get the clothes taken off your back. Stay tuned. Hey, how's it going? It's your boy Josh. Listen, the Bible is very clear about giving out loans, and we know we would never co-sign a loan for a stranger, but what about a friend? Okay, what about family members? What does the Bible have to say about this? Well, I'm going to be getting deep into that during this session. Of course, make sure you like and subscribe and do all the YouTube-y things. But one thing I want you guys to realize is in Proverbs, one of the biggest books about wisdom, it actually outlines 6 different reasons how you should handle when people ask you to actually co-sign a loan for them, or co-sign debt for them, or co-sign a house for them, whatever the case may be. And let me tell you this, spoiler alert, it's not good. So what should you actually do? I remember my brother was asking me a while back to co-sign a car for him. And of course I love him and things of that nature, but just based on these scriptural principles, I just know I'm not supposed to be co-signing a loan for anybody. And there are some exceptions to the rule. Obviously, if you have a child and you want to co-sign their first car, potentially, or you want to co-sign their first credit card, maybe that's something you might want to consider as a parent. But for me, it's a no, okay? You got to build your own credit, or better yet, buy one. Okay, that's another gem for another time. But let's go through some scripture so you guys can understand the gravity and the weight of what it means to co-sign a loan for somebody, okay? I'll give you an example. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 15. He who is a guarantor for a stranger will surely suffer for it, okay? Keyword suffer. But he who hates being a guarantor is secure. So security or suffering, which one are you gonna choose, okay? I choose to be secure. Proverbs 6, chapter 1 through 6, verse 1 through 6, okay? My son, if you become surety for your neighbor, okay, so even your neighbor, first stranger, now we're talking about your neighbor, okay? I don't know why your neighbor would ask you to co-sign a loan for them, but okay, I guess. If your neighbor actually co-sign a loan for them, okay, have given a pledge for a stranger, if you have been snared by the words of their mouth, and if you keep reading verse 5, 6, and 7, it talks about how you have literally become like a gazelle in the hands of a hunter and a bird in the hand of a fowler. So that means actually co-signing a loan is like walking willingly into a trap set for you by your enemies. Isn't that crazy? Like literally the Bible feels so strongly about co-signing a loan that it says you will suffer for it, not that you might, or maybe that you will actually eventually suffer for it, like it's going to happen. And also it's like making yourself a trap and actually trapping yourself and doing the work of your enemies for you. Okay, Proverbs chapter 17, verse 18. A man lacking in sense pledges and becomes a guarantor in the presence of his neighbors. So even your friend or people that you're close with, when you pledge for them, the Bible says you don't have any common sense, okay? There's a quote that goes like this, okay? Common sense is not so common. These are not my words. This is what's in the Bible. I'm just reading it to you. You can be mad at me. You can be big mad. Tell me in the comments what you think about this. Okay, Proverbs chapter 17, verse 18. A man lacking in sense pledges and becomes a guarantor in the presence of his neighbor. Okay, Proverbs chapter 22, 26 and 27. Do not be among those who give pledges, among those who become guarantors for debts. If you have nothing to which you pay, why should he take your bed from underneath you? So if you literally become a guarantor for somebody else, that means that your livelihood, your house where you sleep, can become in danger, because obviously that's what being a cosigner means. Okay, last one. Okay, Proverbs chapter 20, verse 16. Take his garment, okay, aka his clothes, when he becomes a surety for a stranger, and for foreigners hold him in pledge. So when you become a guarantor or co-signing debt for either a stranger, a friend, or family member, just know that you're putting your financial well-being in serious harm and danger. So highly consider the repercussions or the things that could go wrong when you do that. Me personally, I am very against co-signing loans for other people, even to the point where if my kids ask me, I would think twice about it. Why? Because I know the ramifications of what it could mean for myself. Never co-sign a loan for somebody. It's better you borrow them the money they need, or you advise, hey, why don't you ask somebody else? Why don't you ask another cousin? Because for me, I ain't gonna do it. Okay, you can even tell them I'm unavailable. They're no game see me, because what I want you guys to realize is that there's a huge implication for co-signing loans with people, and what you need to do is find alternatives for them. Give them money, cash, okay, or find other ways you can support them in their journey without putting your personal welfare, your personal journey, your finances on the line for them. Because guess what? Not only can you lose your shirt, literally, like it says in Proverbs chapter 20, you can lose your house, you can lose your bed, and more than that, it says you will eventually suffer for this. And take this from somebody who's co-signed loans before. I remember my parents, and if you're an African, this probably happened to you, or from different countries. My parents used my cell phone, my name, to open a credit line for all my siblings, okay? And when that credit line went bad, my credit score tanked to like the 400s or the 500s. And this is when I was 18, 19 years old, okay? Then they wanted to open a Comcast in somebody else's name. They used my other brother. His Comcast, his credit score tanked. Why? Because he was associated with Comcast. And so on, it went over and over and over. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys can relate, okay? And just by the act of doing that, it led to suffering. It took me 2 to 3 years to build my credit back up, step by step, all because of one move of co-signing on the Sprint bill or Comcast bill. So guys, be very careful who you co-sign your loans with. And please, don't use your children's names to be starting no loans, guys. Come on, let's give our kids a head start in this situation and make sure they win. On that note, guys, keep your money flowing. Josh Cashflow out.